Do you have a giant goal to pay down your debts, see the world, maybe do something crazy like start your own business or even retire a couple years ahead of your peers? Well, if that's you and you have a really big personal, wellness, or financial goal and it seems too overwhelming to get started, I got you. Howdy, and welcome to the Wanderluster, where together we explore topics that will help you live a life of adventure on your own terms. This week we're going to be talking about really big, hairy, scary, giant goals. If you have something you've been wanting to work on, whether it's finally to take that bucket list trip to China, start your own business, shave some years off retirement, maybe finally get on the healthy bandwagon for good, or maybe find the love of your life or more fulfilling, rewarding relationships, but these goals seem like giant obstacles you'll never be able to get over, well, I got you. And today we're going to be diving into it because I know I've had a couple goals throughout the years that seemed impossible when I got started. They felt overwhelming. I never thought the person I was could become the person I wanted to be. So if you feel overwhelmed by your goals, but you have this nagging feeling that you absolutely have to try, that's what we're going to be talking about today. So I've done a couple things in the past that seemed too big for my britches, but eventually I got there. Some of my goals included running 13 half marathons in 2013, which, spoiler, I am not an athlete. I have never been an athlete, but I was able to complete all 13 half marathons with a lot of training. I'm a very slow runner walker, but I did it and I was very proud of myself. I also set a goal at one point to save 20% down to put on the house that I'm recording this video in. It took me about 3 years to do so, but I did it. And also right now, the big thing I'm working on is that I really want to shave 10 plus years off of my retirement date. Now, I'm currently 32 years old and I want to retire by like, I don't know, 45 or 50 instead of 65. So that's going to take some really hard work. And quite frankly, sometimes I too am overwhelmed by the math. But if you have a really big financial, personal, or wellness goal that you want to get started on, believe that you can do it. And today we're going to be diving into some of the tips I have to take the overwhelm out of your biggest goals. First things first, there is power in recognizing what you want. First, you may recognize something really big and exciting, and you're like, yeah, I absolutely want to do a marathon. I absolutely want to pay off my student loans. I absolutely want to find the love of my life. But the second thing to ensure that you're on the right path for this giant goal is feeling the resistance. Now, resistance is usually what makes us want to hide. It makes us want to run from these giant goals. The feeling of, I can't do this, it's going to be too hard, why even try? The resistance is key to knowing that you are on the right track and this goal is absolutely something you should try. Now, our brains are hardwired to want comfort, stability, and familiarity. It was actually a really good survival mechanism that back in the day, you knew that you were safe in the village and that if you were to go outside of the village, chances are you would find a bloodthirsty tiger that would kill you. So our brains like familiarity, they like safety, and they're wired to keep us there. So that's why when you identify a giant goal that seems scary and beyond your reach, your brain is like, whoa, 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 pump the brakes. I would much rather sit here and watch Netflix all day than going to the gym. I would much rather spend money at Target mindlessly than putting it towards my 401k. Those are the types of things that are gonna immediately come up when you set a giant goal. Since our brains are hardwired to be safe and to be familiar, just know that resistance is a part of the process. It's absolutely normal and you're gonna feel it because you can't get from where you are to where you want to be without feeling a little bit of resistance because you are literally changing pathways in your brain to create new habits and to create a new outlook on your entire life. So you're gonna feel a little bit of push from that, but just know that it's normal and it's a great sign that you've recognized what you want and you're feeling the resistance, and that is your first step. The next thing you're gonna wanna do is plot your course forward and simply focus on 1% improvement. Now, if you're working towards a giant financial goal or a personal goal to do something completely out of your comfort zone, and this goal may take 5 years, 10 years, months, anything longer than 5 minutes, just know that you're gonna have to do some backing into this goal. Break your giant goal down into consistent and small steps. And even if that feels overwhelming, just focus on 1% improvement. You don't have to be perfect, you don't have to make giant strides, you don't have to stop things cold turkey. If you have a big goal, whether it's to buy a house in 5 years, whether it's to save for a family or find the love of your life, just focus on the things that are within your control now that you can work on consistently in a small way that will build to larger change. For instance, I'm saving for early retirement. I don't want to retire at 65. I want to retire a little bit earlier if I can help it, so I can go rescue dogs and maybe go sailing. I don't know yet. But if you read all the reports out there and all the chatter about retirement in general, most people have a doom and gloom forecast about retirement, much less being able to shave a couple years off of your retirement date. It's pretty depressing and it's pretty overwhelming. So what I've done is I've, number one, identified my big goal. And for me, it's easy. It's a number. It's a number I need to achieve to be able to live off of my retirement fund until I die. But that is a giant number, and quite frankly, it's really scary, and I'm nowhere near where I need to be. But that's okay. So I took my giant goal and I broke it down to how much do I need to save every single year to move the needle towards where I want to go. All right, even that's overwhelming. Holy crap, that's a lot of money, but that's okay. I broke my goal down even further into small, incremental, and consistent changes I can make in my life. So for the month of September, what can I do to move the needle forward in a way that I can be excited about and that I'm making any sort of measurable progress instead of focusing on this giant number that I will need at the end of the road? Well, things I can do now are maybe take a no spending month, maybe max out my 401k, take on a side hustle, make my own coffee instead of picking it up at Starbucks, finding a way to work outside and cancel my gym membership to save more cash. Small things, right? So if I know that this number is giant and I'm feeling really overwhelmed about the end result, I know there are things I can do every week, every day that will move the needle forward, that will help me build a muscle forward to make those marginal gains and compound them towards my end result. So for instance, if you're working towards running a marathon, well, maybe the idea of having to work out 4 or 5 times a week is really overwhelming to you. I understand. A marathon is kind of an insane thing to do. So the first thing you can do is sign up for a gym membership or join a run club. Or maybe it's simply putting on your shoes and going for a walk around the block. Maybe it's calling a friend and getting an accountability buddy. Maybe it is simply printing out the runner's guide that you need of how many miles you would need to do. Maybe it's putting off your favorite Netflix show towards next week so you have more room and time in your life to work towards this goal of running a marathon. You just have to take small steps and consistently do them. Every single day, if you have a giant goal, you can take a small, consistent action, and you would actually be really surprised at how much these tiny 1% improvements add up over time. So just make room in your life for a 1% improvement, especially if your goal at a monthly or yearly basis seems way too big. What can you do today at a small 1% level that will move the needle forward? Trust me, these little gains add up over time. One thing that's really helpful in making an overwhelming goal seem achievable is to simply imagine your life had you not taken any action whatsoever. So imagine yourself that this wish or this dream you had simply remained that, a dream and a wish. Imagine yourself in your rocking chair 30, 40, 50, 60 years from now, and imagine if you never even tried. Really, put yourself in those shoes and see how you feel. Probably not that great, right? Imagine yourself now in that rocking chair, thinking back at your life, and imagining that you did try and you failed. How would you feel then? Maybe you would have been a bit embarrassed, maybe a little humbled, maybe you would have been disappointed still, but chances are you would still be pretty jazzed that you tried. Maybe you didn't, finish the marathon, but you got out there and you made a difference and you raised money for a good cause. Maybe you didn't hit your retirement number, but having some money in the bank is better than no money in the bank, right? Whatever you decide to do, imagine yourself at the end of your life and really see how you would feel not trying and trying, or trying and failing. I guarantee you'll probably think, some sort of effort, some sort of forward momentum, some sort of focus, some sort of effort is better than not trying at all. So if you're feeling a little overwhelmed, simply put yourself in your future shoes and see how you feel. The final thing I want to convey to you, if you're focusing on a really giant goal that seems bigger than you are, is that you deserve to try. You deserve this. You deserve the effort. I know the goal seems really, really big, and that right now is quite frankly how I feel about retiring early. I don't know how I'm gonna do it, but you are the author of your own story, and you deserve to take the pen in your hand and start writing this next chapter of your life. And it's okay if you fall off the wagon. It's okay if you stub your toe or you trip. It's okay if you look like a fool, but you have to get your feet wet and your hands dirty to create the life that you deserve. No one will do it for you, and that is the sad and cruddy truth about life. But you are a beautiful, wonderful creature who deserves to have the adventure of a lifetime on your own terms. But that only begins when you define what those terms are for yourself and you start making those 1% improvements that we talked about earlier. At the end of the day, no matter what your goal is, if it feels overwhelming and too hard to try, you deserve to try. You deserve it. This is your one life. It's not a dress rehearsal. We can't go back. We can't change the mistakes we've made in the past. We can't change the jerks who victimized us. We can't change who our parents were or where we went to college or, gosh, the decisions we wish we would have made 5 years ago. All you have is today and the decision to try, and you deserve to try. Well, I hope that was helpful for you. If you're working on a goal that you're really excited or even overwhelmed about, please leave it in the comment section below. I get so inspired about hearing about your goals, some of which I've never even thought of, things that I would probably want to add to my bucket list. If that's you, or you have something you've been thinking about trying, please leave me a comment below. I hope you know it matters so much to me. I'm going to be uploading new videos every week to help you live an optimized life and craft an adventure and a chapter of your own making. So I hope you'll join me on this journey. Please hit that subscribe button below and hit that little bell that you see there as well to make sure that YouTube alerts you every time I upload a new video each week. Thank you so much for tuning into this video, and I hope you'll join us next week as we crack down on our goals, plot a course forward, and make an adventure of a lifetime. Thanks guys, and I'll see you next time.